There exists a book so dangerous to established religious doctrine that it was buried for nearly 2 millennia. A text that describes angels descending to earth, teaching humanity forbidden arts, and breeding a race of giants that would terrorize the ancient world. This book claims its author was taken alive into heaven, walked among celestial beings, and witnessed the machinery of creation itself. Yet you won't find it in any Bible sitting in church pews today. The Book of Enoch was once considered sacred scripture by the very apostles who walked with Christ. Early church fathers quoted it as divine revelation. The Epistle of Jude in the New Testament directly references its prophecies. Yet by the 4th century, this text was systematically removed, banned, and declared heretical by the same institution that once revered it. For over 1,000 years, it vanished from Western consciousness, surviving only in the remote monasteries of Ethiopia, where Orthodox monks guarded it like a terrible secret. What they discovered when the book resurfaced in the 18th century sent shockwaves through biblical scholarship. Here was an ancient text that predated much of the Old Testament, describing cosmic rebellions, angelic hierarchies, and the true reason for the Great Flood. It spoke of watchers, divine beings who abandoned their posts in heaven to pursue earthly desires. It revealed names and functions of archangels, unknown to canonical scripture. Most disturbing of all, it presented a version of human history where the line between divine and mortal was deliberately crossed, producing consequences that echo into our present age. Why would such a text be suppressed? What knowledge did it contain that threatened the foundations of organized religion? And perhaps most intriguingly, why are its descriptions of cosmic geography, fallen angel technology, and prophetic visions finding unexpected parallels in modern quantum physics and consciousness research? The answers lie within passages that were meant to remain hidden, words that reveal not just the past, but a framework for understanding our current spiritual crisis and the approaching transformation of human consciousness. The story begins with Enoch himself, the 7th generation from Adam, a figure who appears briefly in Genesis with one of the most enigmatic descriptions in all Scripture. While others lived and died, the Bible states that Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. 365 years of life, then translation into another realm without experiencing death. This mysterious figure left behind a testimony that would haunt religious authorities for millennia. According to the text, Enoch was chosen as an intermediary between heaven and earth during one of the most turbulent periods in cosmic history. The book opens with a vision that shatters conventional understanding of angelic nature. 200 angels, led by their chief Semyaza, made a pact on Mount Hermon to descend to earth and take human women as wives. These were the Watchers, originally assigned to observe and guide humanity, who instead chose to abandon their divine station for earthly experience. The text provides extraordinary detail about this rebellion. Each leading Watcher is named, their specific areas of instruction catalogued. Azazel taught metallurgy and weapon making, introducing warfare on an industrial scale. Barakel revealed astrology, Kokabel the constellations, Armaros the resolving of enchantments. Women learned the art of beautification and seduction, men the crafting of swords and shields. What Genesis glosses over in a few verses, Enoch expands into a comprehensive account of how divine knowledge was transmitted to humanity before its time. But the gravest transgression was biological. The union between Watchers and human women produced the Nephilim, giants of such size and appetite that they consumed all human provisions, then turned to devouring humanity itself. The book describes them as 3,000 ells in height, beings whose very existence violated natural law. Their presence corrupted not just human society, but the fabric of creation itself, introducing violence, cannibalism, and dark occult practices that poisoned the earth. It was this contamination that triggered divine intervention. While traditional scripture attributes the flood simply to human wickedness, Enoch reveals a cosmic dimension to the deluge. The flood was designed to cleanse genetic corruption, to reset a creation that had been fundamentally altered by unauthorized angelic intervention. The Watchers themselves were bound in darkness until the day of judgment, their offspring destroyed, their teachings meant to be erased. Yet Enoch's testimony goes far beyond this historical account. taken up by the angel Uriel, he was shown the architecture of reality itself. He walked through the storehouses of the winds, saw the chambers where thunder and lightning are kept, witnessed the prison where fallen stars are held. The book describes 7 heavens, each with specific functions and inhabitants, a cosmology that would later influence Jewish mysticism, Christian theology, and Islamic scripture. In the section known as the Book of Luminaries, Enoch presents an astronomical treatise that demonstrates sophisticated understanding of solar and lunar cycles, calculating a solar year of 364 days divided into 4 equal seasons. He describes a cosmic calendar that predates and potentially influenced later Hebrew calendar systems. The precision of these observations suggests access to knowledge that conventional archaeology argues didn't exist in that era. The Book of Parables introduces the most theologically explosive content. Here Enoch describes a figure called the Son of Man, the elect one, the anointed, who exists before creation and will judge both angels and humans. These passages, written before the birth of Christ, contain messianic prophecies so specific that later Christian theologians couldn't reconcile them with their doctrine of revelation. How could a pre-Christian text contain such detailed Christology unless it was genuinely prophetic? Even more disturbing to religious authorities was Enoch's map of the spiritual realm. He names archangels unknown to canonical scripture, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, describing their specific roles and dominions. He reveals Metatron, the transformed Enoch himself according to later tradition, who becomes the celestial scribe and lesser YHWH. This detailed angelology threatened the simplified hierarchies that organized religion preferred to maintain. The book's cosmology extends to the afterlife, describing Sheol as divided into 4 sections where souls await judgment, each area designated for different categories of the dead. The righteous who suffered, the righteous who prospered, sinners who escaped earthly justice, and sinners who received their punishment in life. This sophisticated understanding of post-mortem existence predates and potentially influenced later concepts of purgatory and graduated afterlife states. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of Enoch is its treatment of knowledge itself. The text repeatedly emphasizes that certain information was released prematurely, that humanity received teachings meant for a later stage of development. The technologies of warfare, the mysteries of cosmetics and enchantment, the movements of celestial bodies, all this knowledge came through rebellion rather than divine timing. The implication is that human civilization itself is built on stolen secrets, that our entire technological and cultural evolution stems from an illegal download of heavenly data. This presents a paradox that haunted early church fathers. If knowledge itself could be corrupted at its source, how could humanity discern truth from deception? If angels could fall and breed with humans, what did that say about the fixed boundaries between spiritual and material realms? The Book of Enoch suggested a universe far more fluid, dangerous, and interconnected than the simplified dualities that organized religion sought to promote. The text's journey through history reveals the politics of spiritual knowledge. In the early centuries of Christianity, Enoch was widely accepted. Tertullian defended it, Origen referenced it, the Epistle of Barnabas quoted it as scripture. Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox churches never removed it from their canon. Yet by the Council of Laodicea in 364 CE, it was excluded from the approved texts. Augustine dismissed it, Jerome rejected it, and by the medieval period, it had effectively vanished from Western Christianity. The suppression wasn't merely theological but political. The Book of Enoch presented a cosmology where divine beings could rebel, where the boundaries between heaven and earth were permeable, where humans could access knowledge and power that challenged institutional authority. It suggested that the current world order was fundamentally corrupted from ancient times, that hidden influences shaped human destiny, that apocalyptic transformation was inevitable rather than conditional. When James Bruce brought the first copies back from Ethiopia in 1773, the European scholarly world was unprepared for its contents. Here was a text that predated much of the Bible, yet contained sophisticated theology and cosmology. The discovery of fragments among the Dead Sea Scrolls confirmed its ancient provenance, dating some portions to at least 300 BCE. Suddenly, a suppressed text emerged as one of the most important documents for understanding Second Temple Judaism and early Christianity. Modern physics has begun to echo Enochian cosmology in unexpected ways. The book's description of multiple heavens resonates with multiverse theory. Its account of watchers observing Earth parallels discussions of higher dimensional beings in theoretical physics. The notion of knowledge existing before its proper time mirrors concerns about artificial intelligence and genetic engineering. We find ourselves in an era where Enoch's warnings about premature knowledge feel prophetic rather than primitive. The text's influence extends into contemporary esoteric traditions. Ceremonial magic draws heavily on Enochian names and hierarchies. The Golden Dawn incorporated its angelology into their grade system. Aleister Crowley claimed to receive communications from the same intelligences described in Enoch. Even modern UFO mythology often references the Watchers, suggesting that ancient angelic visitations were misunderstood extraterrestrial contact. The Book of Enoch has become a source text for alternative histories of human origin, yet the book's deepest teaching transcends its historical claims or cosmic revelations. At its core, Enoch presents a universe where the boundaries between dimensions are negotiable, where consciousness can travel between realms, where humanity stands at the intersection of material and spiritual evolution. It suggests that we are participants in a cosmic drama that began before our creation and extends beyond our comprehension. Every human choice reverberates through multiple levels of reality. To engage with Enoch's vision practically, consider this meditative exercise drawn from its celestial architecture. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably with your spine straight, allowing your breath to become steady and natural. Close your eyes and visualize yourself standing at the base of an immense mountain, its peak hidden in luminous clouds. This is your inner Mount Hermon, the place where heaven and earth meet within your consciousness. With each breath, imagine yourself ascending this mountain. Feel the air becoming lighter, more charged with presence. As you climb, release your attachments to immediate concerns, allowing them to fall away like stones from your pockets. Continue ascending until you reach a plateau where the clouds part, revealing a vast celestial landscape. Here, visualize 7 gates arranged in a circle around you, each one glowing with a different colored light, from deep red through violet. Stand in the center of this circle and state your intention clearly, not for material gain but for wisdom and understanding. Ask to perceive the hidden connections between your earthly experience and cosmic purpose. Remain in this state of receptive awareness for several minutes, noting any impressions, images, or insights that arise. These may come as feelings, symbols, or direct knowing rather than words. When you feel complete, descend the mountain slowly, carrying with you whatever understanding you've received. Practice this visualization weekly, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the veils between worlds are traditionally considered thinnest. Keep a journal of your experiences, noting patterns and recurring symbols. Over time, you may find your perception of reality becoming more multidimensional, your understanding of your place in the cosmic order more nuanced. This is not about escaping earthly responsibility, but about recognizing the greater context in which our human drama unfolds. The Book of Enoch returns to us at a crucial moment in human history. We stand at our own threshold between ages, facing technologies that could transform or destroy our species, grappling with knowledge that exceeds our wisdom to apply it. The text's warnings about premature revelation feel prescient as we unlock genetic codes, approach artificial general intelligence, and probe the quantum foundations of reality. We are the inheritors of the Watcher's gifts, still struggling to understand whether our accelerating knowledge is liberation or catastrophe. Perhaps this is why Enoch was hidden, and why it resurfaces now, not as literal history, but as mythic framework for understanding our predicament. We are beings caught between dimensions, carrying both earthly and cosmic inheritance, capable of reaching toward divinity, yet prone to spectacular falls. The The Watcher's rebellion mirrors our own ambition to transcend limitations without accepting responsibility. The Nephilim represent the monstrous potential when power exceeds consciousness. The flood warns of inevitable reckonings when natural order is violated too severely. Yet Enoch himself represents another possibility, a human who walked between worlds without falling, who received knowledge without corruption, who returned from celestial realms to guide others. He suggests that the bridge between dimensions need not be built on rebellion, but on alignment, that knowledge can be received in its proper season, that humanity's destiny includes conscious participation in cosmic evolution. The choice between the way of the Watchers and the way of Enoch remains open, perhaps more urgently than ever. The book you were never meant to read poses questions you cannot ignore. Are we alone in a material universe, or surrounded by intelligences operating from hidden dimensions? Is human history shaped by forces beyond conventional understanding? What knowledge remains hidden because we lack the wisdom to receive it safely? And most personally, what watches you from beyond the veil of ordinary perception, waiting for your consciousness to expand enough to perceive it? The Book of Enoch doesn't provide comfortable answers. Instead, it initiates those who seriously engage with it into a larger, more dangerous, more magnificent cosmos than our institutions dare acknowledge. It reminds us that reality exceeds our maps of it, that ancient doesn't mean primitive, that excluded doesn't mean false. In an age where old certainties dissolve and new possibilities emerge faster than we can integrate them, Enoch offers what we most need, a precedent for navigating the collision between human limitation and cosmic possibility. The text remains controversial because it remains relevant. Its vision of permeable boundaries between realms, of knowledge as both gift and curse, of humanity's pivotal role in cosmic drama, speaks directly to our current transformation. We are all children of the Watcher's revolution, inheritors of forbidden knowledge, standing before choices that will echo through dimensions we're only beginning to perceive. The Book of Enoch wasn't hidden because it was false, but because it was too true for institutions built on controlling mystery rather than exploring it. Now it returns to circulation as humanity approaches its own judgment day, not of divine wrath, but of evolutionary pressure. Will we handle our stolen fire with wisdom, or burn in flames of our own making? Will we recognize the Watchers among us, those influences shaping our development from hidden dimensions? Can we, like Enoch, walk with expanded consciousness without losing our humanity? These questions pulse through every page of this suppressed scripture, waiting for readers brave enough to contemplate their implications. The book that was meant to remain buried has resurfaced at the exact moment we need its warnings and revelations most. Perhaps it was never truly lost, but held in reserve, waiting for humanity to develop enough to engage with its vision responsibly. Now, as we stand at our own cosmic crossroads, the Book of Enoch emerges from the shadows, offering maps to territories we're only beginning to explore. The question is not whether you believe its historical claims, but whether you're ready for the expansion of consciousness it demands. The path of Enoch remains open for those willing to walk between worlds with wisdom rather than rebellion, seeking truth rather than power, serving evolution rather than ego. The mysterious book that changes everything waits to change you, if you have the courage to truly read what was written for this very moment of human becoming.